Ah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Takes. Almost said embrace felony. So lately, I've been going pretty hard at our peoples. I just wanted to kind of like, hopefully, try to give you an understanding of where I be coming from.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says threats to cuts to federal funding would be illegal. His message to the Trump administration was, "We'll see you in court if the president makes good on his threats to punish sanctuary cities amidst the ongoing ICE enforcement activities."
Our motto is the national motto.
Mayor Brandon Johnson hosting a discussion today about public safety efforts, bringing together 5th District Police and community violence intervention groups. Potential federal funding cuts posing a threat on many levels, including for CVI programs.
We're going to continue to work with our, partners, with corporations and the philanthropic community to help fill that gap.
But the mayor's bigger funding problems could stem from the most recent threats by President Trump towards sanctuary cities like Chicago and the states that have them.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
The mayor's office says Chicago receives more than $3 billion in federal grants annually, spending about $1 billion each year.
First of all, he can't do that, right? So I just want to level set. This president has threatened our city and other cities across America on multiple fronts. I just want to name the fact how unnatural this person's behavior is.
Chicago's sanctuary law bars police from cooperating with ICE and Border Patrol on civil immigration enforcement matters, something that has been a long-standing source of frustration for the president. The impact of potential cuts could be widespread.
So everything from public health to, again, our transportation system.
Today, the Trump administration announced it was slashing several thousand grants totaling $2 billion for programs supporting mental health and addiction treatment programs.
Mental health care is health care, and so is substance use treatment. And people are going to be devastated by this. I am devastated on behalf of people today, and we're going to do everything we can to take them to court and bring back the funding.
The battle over funding taking a new twist today, with Congressman Mike Quigley planning to introduce an amendment to the Homeland Security budget to cut funding for ICE and Border Patrol if they don't change the aggressive tactics that have played out in Chicago and most recently in Minneapolis.
Now, I want you to
Illinois
understand,
Democratic Congresswoman Robin Kelly.
I want you to understand exactly what they're fighting for, or what they're fighting to continue to keep. This is Brandon Johnson, as well as a lot of other mayors and congressmen and women who look like us. And you got people like Abby Phillips and Ricky Smiley and all of these other so-called intellectual voices, the new non-intellectual voices of Black media, the Tiffany Crosses and the Joy Reids and whatnot, who said that white women should lay down their bodies for not just illegals, but criminal illegals. Because, let's get this straight right now. We, as Black folks, do not have a problem with Jose and Raul, the gardener and the roofer, Jose the plumber, Enrique the truck driver, Ernesto and his gang in the factory. We really don't have a problem with them as far as them being illegal. Sure, they bring down our wages because corporations like to undercut them. Meanwhile, they still got to send money back home to finish paying off the coyote. This is why they sleep so many to a room. We know this. They send the money back home, but it doesn't get home straight away if the coyote is demanding a delivery price, or they'll hurt your family or something like that. Or you're working for the coyote as far as like that criminal underworld Like that one company, they had like 250 illegals working for them. All they hired was illegals. Yeah, that's like a coyote business. They make sure that you pay them off. Yeah, go to this spot and tell them that we sent you. They'll give you a job. And they will, because they get their money. Their front for whatever cartel smuggled you into the country. And they undercut your wages. And then all that surrounding area, what they call competitive wages. Yeah, that means if the lowest we're paying for somebody is like maybe like $9 to $15 an hour on a job that should be anywhere between 18 to 22. Yeah, well, everybody else is going to follow suit. So they call that competitive wages. Competitive wages in the area. Because they have illegals, somebody's got illegals. So therefore, the rest of you suffer. But now that you're seeing them leaving, people are starting to demand more for those jobs because companies are desperate. I mean, there's plenty of videos of people who own construction companies and roofing companies and everything. They show up to work and like 0 of their employees are there because they lost their social security numbers and they hear ICE is coming. So it's not worth it anymore. So they scatter. Those are the ones that go ahead and take that $1,000, now $3,000, and a one-way ticket home because they don't come back. They're like, screw it. The operation's a bust. Maybe you'll shake me down at the airport or when I get home. I hope not. So I can take my family and get the hell up out of here. $1,000 is a lot in Mexico. Now it's $3,000. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can get somewhere real comfortable. Hope they never find you. They know once they go back, they're done. But the thing about it is that these people, the ones that we want out, the ones that ICE are mainly going after, when you look at their arrest list, you got child rapists or just rapists, period, murderers, violent felons, a lot of underage sex offenses. These are the people. I want you to understand now, especially concerning Chicago, but really say 54,000 pesos. Yeah, you get the hell up out of there with that. Shit, a house costs 100. No, but when you look at who they dumped in black neighborhoods, because understand they didn't dump these people in rich white neighborhoods or even low income white neighborhoods. They dumped them in black neighborhoods, poor, low income black neighborhoods, because they know that those are the ones you don't have the power to fight back. Only thing you can do is get on TV and hold rallies and whatnot, or yell at us in city hall sessions. That's why Brandon Johnson, poster boy, what did he do? Mr. Fighting for illegals. Dumped all those illegals on the south side. They out there causing problems like a mug. We already know about the whole Medicaid, Medicare scam, the welfare scam, the daycare scam, the health center scam. I mean, Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg. You heard what Scott Besson said. We're going to audit all 50 states. We don't care, Republican or Democrat. You better hope you didn't steal not one penny. Right. And then he raised their taxes after he said he wouldn't. Because he's trying to keep the people who like to tie up and gang rape 11-year-old girls and then strangle them to death and throw them in the shallow river. He's fighting to keep those people in poor black neighborhoods. All of these black politicians that are Democrat, this is what they're fighting for. Every time they open their mouth, Hakeem Jeffries, okay, Cory Booker, Jasmine. Every time they open their mouths, this is about concerning immigration. This is what they're fighting to keep in your neighborhoods. They just don't target little white girls. They've gotten some black girls too. I mean, you know, since you so pro-black, well, I forget y'all don't care about black women. But you know, that could be your mama, your sister, your cousin, your niece, your daughter. Then you'll care, right? Then it matters. Yeah, then they raise your property taxes damn near 150% because the federal government said, well, hey, look, if you're not going to turn over at least the criminal illegals, we're not worried about the gardener, the plumber, and the roofer, and the warehouse worker. We got them covered with the Social Security numbers. All right? We know who they are. We're talking about the ones that are operating off the grid and their associates. Give us those. And you say no. You $2 billion in the hole. You've cost your city all 4 of its Walmarts, and now all of the McDonald's are pulling out. Some mall out there that was a tourist attraction or whatnot is shutting down because of crime. Same reason why McDonald's is leaving. Same reason why Walmart left. Now you've got the Bears looking to get out of their lease, to get outside of the city because of the business tax you tried to pass. Say Illinois is the last Democrat stronghold in the Midwest. Yeah, because Ohio's looking pretty weak. I mean, Minnesota is about to send a mayor to jail, a governor and a mayor, and a sitting member of Congress, and the AG, and all their little underlings. They're getting ready to go to prison. There's no doubt about it. There's gonna be a lot of mass deportations too. They don't want to hear it. Denaturalizations and deportations, because you're going in lockup, and no, we're not letting you out because you'll be tried federally by one of our hand-picked judges. It's a federal crime. You're not getting out. Go ahead, fight for them. We'll come after you next. Say something. I dare Gavin Newsom to say something. You understand you also are under investigation. I sent a special prosecutor out there in April, and he's digging in your ass. Karen Bass let them people's houses burn, and while she out in Africa, she come back and she just can't say nothing. They got cameras in her face at the airport. Hey, what about these houses burned down? I know you heard about it. I mean, damn, you're the mayor of the city. I know somebody called you and said, oh my God, turn on the news. I'm pretty sure you wasn't staying in a mud hut when you were in Africa. I bet you was an air-conditioned hotel room. CNN on the TV. Five-star. You knew what was going on and you said nothing. You had nothing to say. You couldn't even prepare a statement on the plane. All you had to say was, yes, the officials, city officials made me aware, and I caught the first flight home. Let me talk to my team, and then I'll get back to you. That's all you had to say. I mean, that's what a professional would have said. But no, you just showed your complete and utter incompetence. It was so bad that, I mean, when Trump was there, they had to pull your mic away from you because you couldn't just shut your goddamn mouth. The president is talking. You screwed up. Royally. And now that we find out that you guys pretty much did a half-ass job in putting out the fire, which didn't put out the fire, and these people lost their homes, yeah, they're suing the shit out of you. And guess what? They're going to win because the radio chatter was recorded. They had that lesbian fire chief telling them to stand down. But we got to do the complete thing. No, don't worry about it. It'll be all right. No water in the tanks because of a damn rip. And how long it's been ripped? 18 months. What? My grandmother could have sewed that thing together in half a day. And now the money is missing for the people who were getting. I think the federal government sent them like $25 million for fire relief, and the money just disappeared. Nobody got a dime. And when asked about it, she shrugs her shoulders. I don't know what you're talking about. Which leads me to my favorite punching bag, Jasmine Crockett, who speaks in blackface when she's talking to black people or out trying to get fundraising and everything. And I mean, the Republicans did her dirty though. It's so funny. It's so funny. They egged her up to run for Senate because she lost her court battle trying to claim the redistricting was racism. Because if it's not Donald Trump coming out of her mouth, then it's racism. TDS and racism. I mean, just pathetic. No platform to stand on or nothing. It's either Donald Trump bad and racism is bad. I'm being racism against. Like, I mean, just absolutely nothing. And a whataboutism arguing point as a lawyer. Just terrible. Self-centered and conceited. And so just sells out so hard with that blackface speech. They put her up to run. She called him Stephen from Django. That's odd. I mean, this is what kills me. I mean, keep in mind, Stephen A. Smith is a flip-flopper. You understand? He's a flip-flopper and a performer. He's pretty much like he's a court gesture. Okay, he was the court gesture of ESPN. That's why they originally didn't want him, because he was too clownish in his actions and whatnot. So, but Skip had them take him on, and what they saw was that a lot of black males like that type of behavior, because that's that sassy, what Nessie Michonne would call a sassy straight. That's that sassy straight behavior. They grew up in a household where their mamas talk like that and behave like that. Stephen A. Smith is just the male incarnate of that. You understand? So for me, it's not really that he is like a Stephen from Django, but more so just a loudmouth ghetto black female in male form. You understand what I'm saying? It's just that you know, he has an education. You understand what I'm saying? You know, there are a lot of males in government that has that personality. Brandon Johnson, for one, you know, more so he's cowardly. You know, I take that back. He's cowardly. He's very cowardly, and with him, his go-to is racism. You know, just like the Somalians and the white folks out in Minnesota, you know, their number one go-to is racism. Everything is a racism, not the fact that you're committing crimes and protecting criminals. It's a racism thing. I mean, it's so bad that when they try to ram the cars of ICE agents trying to, you know, kill them, and then they get shot and able to get away because they disabled the ICE vehicle, they call the police, and the news story makes it about ICE just shooting 2 quote unquote civilians. Not that they were Trinde Alagra members. And even then, when that came out, you had this white liberal mayor still defending them, calling them her neighbors, and the news was like, they live next to you? They live in your neighborhood? You know, like, yeah, like, no, see, they live in our neighborhoods. The least patrolled, thanks to, you know, defunding the police. The most overlooked. These are being done by your leaders who claim everything is racist and be trying to tug on your black heartstrings to fight for them. And it's like, bruh, no. The average, but you'd be surprised how many black people actually do call themselves wanting to protect illegals. And I mean, good Lord, I was watching one of these ICE videos. They were showing them walking out of a Target, and some big black dude talking about some, take off that gun and badge and I'll kick your ass. And I'm like, who are you performing for, bro? Maybe you don't understand that the reason why you so mad at the world is because you can't get a decent paying job. Because I mean, he looked like, you know, a 9 to 5, or like maybe like a chicken shack, or like the guy who stocked the shelves at a Family Dollar or something like that. Like, you do understand when the illegals go, the people who are forced to work these minimum wage jobs at places where you belong, they're going to go out in the real world and get themselves a real rent paying job and leave this crap behind. And that way it'll open up a spot for you. You know, it's a trickle down effect. And you're threatening a federal official, a federal agent. You're threatening a federal agent. Do understand, if he would have stopped, turned around and popped you in the face with a pepper ball and then dragged you outside and roughly cuffed you and threw you in the back of a police wagon or one of their wagons and charged you with, you know, making terroristic threats towards a federal officer, while you're on your way to the station, the only person you can be mad at is yourself for running your damn mouth over something that ain't got nothing to do with you like that. You're an idiot. Now you got that on your record. Whether it gets tossed or not, it's on your record. Yeah, in Minnesota. No Crispus addicts wannabe. Straight embarrassing. Why are you out there fighting for some child abusing? And I understand we didn't know it at the time, but this child abusing lesbian female that's been following ICE around all day. I mean, literally moved to that state just so they could harass federal agents. Federal agents from keeping your neighborhood safe. I mean, the Somali fraud, nobody should be up there unless you are a paid agitator, which is what she was, because there's no way in hell that you can move from one state to another without some form of income. Did it look like she worked in some office building? Her and her disabled lesbian partner, former military at that, even worse. You have an oath to protect this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And this is what you're doing? You should be jailed for treason. You should be jailed for treason. Just on that alone, by and face a military tribunal. The hell is wrong with you? Are you really this stupid? You got her out here? Fuck the baby. By the way, apparently the officer who got hit with her car has internal bleeding from the incident. That's what's being reported. And you out here, you got your goofy self out here grabbing the gun of a federal agent. You lucky that wasn't a live ammunition. You lucky that wasn't an MP5. He'd have blew your brains out, and he'd had every right to do it. Because you tried to take his gun from him. I don't care if it was just a slip. I'm sorry. That's a very fireable offense, especially with it on tape. You'd have became Crispus Addicts 2.0. Because some goofy white chicks are out here trying to keep illegals, criminal illegals in your neighborhood. Do you understand how psychotic that is? Again, black leaders in government and pseudo intellectuals here on the internet, on CNN, on MS Now, are sitting up here towing the liberal, Democratic, Dixiecrat, Confederate line. I mean, they literally had Jasmine Crockett say, but who's going to pick our crops? I mean, you talk about bizarro world. And the messed up part of it is that they're not even our crops. We don't even own the farms. Who's going to cut my grass? Who's going to pick my strawberries for my smoothie? Remember that white woman said that? She said, yeah, a lot of white women are going to be upset when they wake up in the morning and they can't get their something berries, dingleberries in their smoothies in the morning. You know, I mean, she said some type of berry. They were talking about, you know, deporting the illegals. I mean, I mean, what time? What year is this? Is this 1770? 1870? Where we at? Housing prices go down, jobs go up, more benefits for people who receive them. That's what when you fight against ICE, that's what you're fighting against. You're fighting against your own betterment. I mean, it's just terrible. It's even worse when you see people that are, that surround you. They fight to keep themselves at the very bottom like that. And then you wonder why you don't have a voice. I mean, seriously. With the welfare hustle ending, the Medicaid hustle ending, Section 8 hustle ending, food stamp hustle ending, factory jobs coming in. I mean, you would think one would be happy that the economic power dynamic is getting ready to shift, but they don't think that far ahead if they think about it at all. Because, factory jobs, they like unskilled labor. Roofing job, they'll train you. Everybody can work them more. Trucking job, just go to truck school. Before you know it, those jobs are opening up. You see them opening up now as they bust these illegals on the road. Jobs are opening up now. You got companies shutting down, which means, if you own a shipping warehouse, yeah, your workload probably just doubled, if not tripled. You need more drivers. Yeah, we can afford to pay you the average rate. The midterms will be hilarious. Yeah, the stupid Black Americans are defending Somali scammers. Right. I hate that they're also doing it by proxy by talking about, the child abusing lesbian white woman. They're using that as a way to avoid defending the Somalians. But I mean, you do have some on here, especially here on social media, that straight up defending the Somalians, not realizing that they don't like you. You're not their friend. Same with the Hispanics and the Indians or the Asians or anybody else that's over here illegally as a group, or just here as a group, period. They don't like you like that. They don't fuck with you like that. What are you talking about? How many times you been over to their house for dinner? How many times have you invited them over and they actually came? Sure, you might get a few drinks after work or whatnot. You've never been to his house, y'all. He don't mess with you like that. You say, you're right. I keep seeing ads about trucking companies getting you on the road fast. Yeah. And notice you never see Somali protesters. All the protesters are some kind of American. Yeah, usually white and over the age of 40. How much that $9 billion that they share with you? Not a lick. Not a lick. In fact, if you were trying to get in on the scam, they would report you. I mean, these people are so shady that one of the judges that they bribed, they promised her a $200,000 bribe. When she opened the bag and counted it, it was $140,000. The guy who dropped off the money, yeah, he I guess he took his tip, his gratuity. He took his gratuity. Took his gratuity right off the top. I mean, it's that bad out there. And you got people on here defending them because they black. Yeah, they black. They not black like you. I don't know what the hell they fed the mayor, Mayor Fry, when he sat down trying to eat their food as a show of solidarity, but it was some awful tasting stuff. And I'm telling you, that was probably like some goat and some rice and some spices or whatnot. And I mean, you know, curry goat is pretty good. I don't know what the hell they fed him, but I know I would not eat at one of their restaurants. I'd eat at the Indian one with no problems, but I would definitely not go into one of their restaurants talking about getting some food, because I don't know what they will put in it simply because I am a Black American in their space. You say, dude, white folks don't like that ethnic African stuff. I know that dude was probably used to eating chips and dip, drinking a cold beer while standing over the sink. Or a cold sandwich because his wife didn't make dinner, or she made it, but she made enough for the kids or whatnot, then put the rest in the refrigerator. Didn't even keep them a plate in the oven or make them a plate. You know, everything is still in containers, almost like, you know, he was like a roommate. He looked like that's the dynamic that goes on in his house. Very, very spineless and weak-willed. Very performative. You understand? Not a genuine bone in his body. That's why he talked like that. He already showing that he's on the payroll. He's down with the program. I would definitely have him arrested for sedition. Especially with him inciting to riot and inciting violence with the way that he spoke about federal officers. I mean, yes, you have the First Amendment. You can say what you want to say, but the byline is that, you know, just be prepared to face the consequences. They never talk about the byline. United States, you can say whatever you want to say. There will be consequences. They don't tell you that part. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. No, but understand, when I opened up the Embrace Villainy channel, I decided to focus on localized crime and like police videos, and then like eviction videos, you know, stuff that was like entertaining yet informative. But as I did the crime videos, it wasn't entertaining at all. I mean, it was a bunch of like, if it wasn't about robberies or whatnot, particularly of like grocery stores, like out in the parking lots or whatnot, or you know, stealing from Walmart and all of this stuff, a lot of petty crimes going on with things that we need in our community. Like, you need a Walmart in community because they normally come in and put all the other neighboring grocery stores out of business. They did that here. They put the Krogers out of business that was across the street from them. So the only place you can go to get like cheap food is the Aldi's, which was across the street from the Kroger's, which is, I mean, technically across the street from the Walmart. So it's just a matter of time before, hopefully they can hold on, because the price of food was kind of going up. So a lot of people were going there. Like usually when they're open, their parking lot is full. So I think they are right. And that Aldi's is not like, really sticking out. You see the sign, but the store is off the street, because of the parking lot. There's a lot of other stores, like that Title Max and stuff like that. The Zaxby's, stuff that people don't normally pull up in. Yeah, they're between the Title Max and the Zaxby's. And that Zaxby's is competing with Burger King, Popeyes, which always has a line. And across the street from that is a Checkers. So for them to always have a full parking lot, I mean, people hunted for that sucker. They found that sucker. You understand? They found it because it was, location. They hit on a good location for, to be surrounded by dead businesses or dying businesses. At any rate, yeah, you lose your Walmarts and you lose your grocery stores, like the grocery store in the poor black community out there in, I think it was in Oakland or San Francisco, something like that. And the black, I guess, city council member or whatnot was saying that they was boycotting the store. They was, boycotting the store that was closing because they had just way too much crime going on, not just inside the store with a lot of violence and theft, but also outside the parking lot where little old ladies were getting mugged for their groceries in their purses. It was just that bad. And like the store just refused to hire security to go out there to make sure that the parking lot is clear because it just wasn't in the budget, because they were losing money. They were bleeding money because of the theft going on in the store. Haven't helped them if any of those women decided to sue. There are just some things insurance won't cover. So the black leader was out there picketing the store. Got people out there with picket signs, some real Al Sharpton type of garbage. And he said on camera that he wants them to keep this store open, and if they don't, then there's going to be, hell to pay. And the lady reporter asked him, "What do you mean by that?" He was like, "It's going to get ugly." It's like, so you're telling us that if we close the store, you're going to what? Loot it? Burn it down? What is that what you're saying? If we close it, this is going to be your retaliation? Do you not see the irony of why we're leaving? You have grocery stores shutting down in poor black neighborhoods all across the United States in these sanctuary cities. Because people can't afford food. Or they just, don't care. Don't feel like, don't want to pay for it. Let's be honest. A lot of people really do it because they just don't want to pay for it. It has nothing really to do with affordability. They just feel like that they can simply because they black. that it's racist if you call the police on them. I mean, I've literally did videos where the culprits, usually a female, was screaming racism because they were getting arrested for driving on a suspended license. And the cop was just going to take the car, but she had to make a whole production out of it and get arrested. You understand? I mean, that's the same thing that Fani Willis's daughter did back in November when she got pulled over for driving on a suspended license. You understand? And the cop arrested her. This was like in South Georgia, well out of Fannie's district. But she called her mama, and of course, her mama pulled up with Nathan Wade about 45 minutes later or whatnot, when they ain't even supposed to be together, all on body cam. And she's trying to, yeah, I'm fully county prosecutor, trying to like throw her weight around like weight or trying to say, can you do me a solid? And them good old boys was like, nope. You can pick her up, but she's going to be processed first. You can bail her out. I mean, you out there in Trump country, and you just lost the case. You know what I'm saying? You all over the news for improprieties with this dude right here that you got out of the car with, that you said under oath that y'all weren't seeing each other anymore. And I mean, every law enforcement officer knows about your case, and here you come walking up to me with this dude that you said you wasn't around no more. And you want me to just cut your daughter loose? No, you can pay her bail. You saw how that fell apart. Now, thank God I don't live in Fulton County, is on the hook for like what? I think $15 million. Because of her, they're gonna take it out of her department. So now she just crippled the Fulton County DA's department, the police department. She just crippled all of that. They done found the damn votes too. 300,000 votes they found. When Trump said find the votes, you tried to have him sentenced for election fraud. I mean, here in Georgia, you can sue. If you win your case against the DA, you can sue the county for malicious prosecution down here in Georgia. That's why she has to pay up that $15 million. They gave who was that? YSL. They had to give his properties back. Fulton County seized his properties. They got to give them back. They got to give him back his stuff. His case was a sham, insufficient evidence, malicious prosecution. Same thing with all of these Trump people that they convicted, trying to go after him. Malicious prosecution. Those people can sue and get their money back for like their lawyers' fees, plus malicious prosecution. All of them. Even Trump. Bonnie. Ooh, Lord. Girl, just go ahead and step down. It's over. You sitting up here, they having this hearing about you at the Georgia Senate, Congressional Senate here out in Georgia, and everything you saying this is a stupid ass question, and this is all about racism and whatnot. Like they wasn't buying that. They weren't buying that. You should probably be damn lucky they didn't ask you to step down yet, but that's up to the mayor. Although they should. I'm pretty sure they strongly recommended that you step down as Fulton County prosecutor. Like you're a bumbling mess. Listening to Kamala, same thing with Letitia James. They keep talking about them 34 felonies, but the money that he had to pay for that had been adjudicated right back to him. They said, nope, there is no inter-party. So this $400 million plus judgment, yeah, this is forfeit. We're not seizing his assets. And right now he's got because that was the financial penalty case part. But as far as the criminal case, he's having that on appeal. He's having that appeal too. And in the middle of that, of course, we know she committed mortgage fraud twice over. These are our black leaders, or blacks in leaders of power. Everybody, it's just everybody cries racism when it's time to face accountability for their criminal activities. Trump bad and racism. Trump bad and racism. It's like a broken fucking record. That deflection tactic does not hold up in a court of law. They play big on CNN and The View, MS Now. Not in the court of law. Please tell me what am I supposed to be happy about when these situations are coming out and about. You got Ryan Clark talking about, I mean, every time something happened, he crying racism. Like he literally said that if Mike Tomlin was white, he wouldn't be he wouldn't have been fired from Pittsburgh. And it's like, dude, okay, first and foremost, they fired John Harbaugh after 19 seasons, and he has a Super Bowl caliber team. They fired him. Secondly, they didn't fire Mike Tomlin. He 100% said, hey, I'm stepping down. Because the team was stale. They didn't want to spend any money on the quarterback. They had Jackson Dart sitting right there. You know, while everybody thought they was going to take Shedeur Sanders, you know, they should have drafted Jackson Dart. I was praying they didn't draft him. I was really hoping he would fall to us at the top of the second round. But the Giants went up and got him. At any rate, he stepped down. The team wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't trying to actually draft players that could help it improve. Your biggest weakness was at quarterback and at wide receiver. You need another wide receiver. Okay? You need two good wide receivers in this league to be able to compete, and a quarterback that can get them the ball. You've been playing musical chairs at quarterback since Big Ben retired, and you've gotten nothing but 10-6 and then 10-7 seasons where you're one and done in the playoffs. I mean, good Lord, you suffered an embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns. Did you really think that he was going to hold on for another year of being one and done in the playoffs with a crappy quarterback? and a malcontent wide receiver with iffy hands. He's a penalty machine for offensive pass interference. I mean, good Lord, the guy punched a fan. The Steelers used to get rid of diva wide receivers, not bring them to the team in a trade. He was done. Yeah. So Ryan Clark talking about they fired him because of racism. Like, dude, you do understand that you're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it's called the Rooney Rule for a reason. Do you know why it's called the Rooney Rule? It's named after Art Rooney. It's named after the family that owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello, McFly. The dude was there for 18 freaking years. The Steelers don't fire quarterbacks. Coaches. Chuck Noll retired. What's the name? Bill Cowher retired, and now he's pretty much stepped down to take a break because he still want to coach. He just don't want to be in Pittsburgh no more. It's a dead franchise. People think that that's a great job, but it's not unless you're able to change the offensive philosophy, because it's been the same ever since ever since Franco Harris was there. But at least they had two good wide receivers. Now it's just the Steelers is just one power back and one wide receiver and a decent tight end. That's been their offense for like over 20 something years, ever since Bill Cowher. It's stale. No matter what offensive coordinator you bring in, the front office is not going to grow. They give you, it's not you, it's them. They give you the players. Even though you ask for this, that, and the other, they're like, well, that's not Steelers football. Like, well, do you want to win or not? Well, the Steelers way is the winning way. Yeah, you know what the Steelers way gets you? 10-7 and a first round exit for 7 years straight. You play better teams in the playoffs, right? You don't play the Browns. And even when you did, they killed you. Oh my God, they killed you. They embarrassed you on national television. And their head coach Stefanski didn't even coach that game. He was at home sitting on his couch with COVID. Oh my God. You knew that was the beginning of the end. Yeah, and hadn't had a run game since Le'Veon Bell. No, but he stepped down. It was time. They didn't fire him. Steelers don't fire coaches. You have the job till you're sick of the job. But understand, the Rooneys run the show. The Rooneys run the show. They pick the talent. They just want you to coach it. That's the Steelers way. It's not a good job. I mean, to be honest. If you want longevity, sure. You have no say-so over personnel, just so you know. At any rate, yeah, you got people like Ryan Clark out there. Just making a fool of himself. pretty much the new Stephen A. Smith. This is the Django. In all honesty, this is the Django of ESPN. Massa want me to point out the racisms. So I'm gonna point out the racisms, Massa. Everything is racism. The whole Shedeur Sanders thing. Oh, it's racism. Like, dude, have you seen our quarterback room the past 5-6 years? How is it racist when we gave a black quarterback the biggest freaking guaranteed contract in NFL history? How is it racist that we did that with, a black quarterback? And then had two other black guys backing them up. Please explain how it's racist. We'd like to hear it. With a black GM, no doubt. Please explain how anything dealing with Shedeur is racist. When the GM came out and said it would be crazy for us not to go out and draft a franchise quarterback in this year's coming draft, I guess that was racist when the black GM, Andrew Berry, said that. Or did he just understand what the rest of us who are actual football fans, without any bias, realize that, yeah, this isn't good enough to start in the NFL. This is a career backup. I don't think he, in the fifth round, passed up on the Baltimore Ravens drafting him because he was looking to go somewhere where he could start in the fifth round. He probably knew that if he got picked by the Browns, he would get some playing time, or maybe the Raiders or one of those teams, maybe even the Saints. Any place that was desperate need for a starting quarterback or a potential starter. This is the fifth round. The chances of you starting any NFL game is almost nil. A team would have to do something so stupid as to trade their veteran backup that they traded for. They would have to trade him to another team, and then after a couple of games, which would put you third on the depth chart, because there was a guy drafted in the third round, so of course he's going to get the first shot because he's a third round pick. You should really be lucky when you started out with that the team started out with 4 quarterbacks on the active roster, because that's not something that the Browns do. Or no team does that, to be honest. So this was weird. But then after a few games, they trade their starting quarterback to a division rival who is desperate need of a quarterback. Teams do not trade within their division. That's a cardinal sin. Which, of course, is why Mike Tomlin was pissed. And he knew Kevin Stefanski had nothing to do with that. At any rate, you eventually got the start. You found out that the NFL is hard. Of course, you didn't want to go to Baltimore, because if Lamar Jackson gets injured, as of course he did, that means that if they have you penciled in as a second string quarterback on a Super Bowl caliber team and you don't perform well, if you perform like you did in Cleveland, yeah, your little confidence would be destroyed. I understand why you turned down Baltimore. You got lucky with Cleveland. You was not supposed to see the field. That was not the way the season started. But when you want to tank, you start 2 rookies. You want to tank your season, try to get a high draft pick at quarterback. Yeah, you go ahead and you start 2 rookies. Pretend like you want to see what they can do. See which one might actually win the backup role for the eventual starter we're going to bring in the draft next year. Maybe you'll surprise us. You didn't, but you know. Now we got a new coach coming in, and no coach worth his salt is going to hitch his wagon to Deshaun Watson, who's a shell of himself, and a 5th round pick that played like a 5th round pick. They're not hitching their careers to that. They're going to want their own guy. Team can't cut Deshaun Watson. He would destroy the salary cap because they would be accelerated to $174 million. Because Andrew Berry just kept pushing his contract back and pushing the money back. And then he signed to an extension and pushed the money back. So he's stuck on the team. Whether he's playing or not, he's getting his money. I'm sorry, I done went into football talk. But, you know, understand, it's not racism. It's skill. It's skill. The wins that were accredited to him because he was a starter, that was because of the defense. Every last one of them. The defense beat the Raiders. The defense beat the Bengals. The defense beat the Steelers. They played horribly against Tennessee, which is the worst team in the league, literally. The worst team in the league. They were 1-11. They played soft in the 4th quarter, so you're able to put up 3 touchdowns. But do understand, that's the worst team in the league. They were 1-11 for a reason. I mean, that wasn't even their original head coach, which goes to show you just how badly the defense played. Other than that, you probably would have won that game. Yeah, that's the skill it's just not there. It's just not there. Sure, there'll be some upgrades, but not for you. Not for you. It'll be for the starting quarterback that they're going to bring in. That whoever the new head coach is going to mold into his perfect quarterback. And guess what? I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him from the team simply because, in all honesty, with him being the backup, it would be a distraction. It would be the same garbage all over again. So it's just better to cut bait and, Godspeed to whoever picks you up, because good Lord, you are going to have a media circus out of this world for nothing. Johnny Manziel with Tim Tebow's fanfare. Yeah, you're great in college, but the pros is a whole different animal, and you can't compete. That was good Lord. The fan base, the black fan base for Shedeur Sanders was like sickening. I mean, it was almost like I hated being a Browns fan because all of the chat rooms and the message boards. I mean, good Lord. Insufferable. Anyway, I mean, socially, that's what I was dealing with. My relaxing sport is being bombarded with low IQ idiots who don't know shit about football, claiming that the kids' failures is because of racism. I mean, goddamn, that's like taking your favorite thing and having it ruined. Like, for the most stupidest thing. I mean, like, let's say they took your favorite video game and because of an upgrade in the software, you're stuck in one room having to do the same thing over and over again, trying to find a way out. But the trick is that there is no way out. Your favorite game, if you're a gamer. Or you're a basketball guy and suddenly your favorite team or whatever is just getting called for the stupidest penalties that there's not making any sense. Just intentionally just ruining your team. You know, like how the NFL did the Raiders. Just made a bad product to watch to the point where you're like, God damn, can't y'all see this shit? What are y'all doing? The league ain't gonna step in. You know, just totally ruining your favorite thing. That's what Shadur's fan base did to me. But at any rate, to see that crime and bad policy, garbage sound bites, anything, everything was all being attributed to racism. You getting arrested for stealing a cart full of groceries while only ringing up a Diet Dr. Pepper in Florida, and you live in Texas, which means you were up here visiting, and this is what you decided to do. And you was with 3 other white folks, and because you got arrested for trying to steal a cart full of groceries from Walmart, I mean, you're already handcuffed and sitting down, and then of course when the cops see the video, because the woman claimed that, you know, she tried to stop you, one of the employees, she tried to stop you going out the door and you slapped her hand, that's an assault. You saying you didn't do it, but the woman had like a cut on her hand because it hit the cart. So then they show the video of you doing it, and then you freak out and decide that you want to fight the cop. Right? You're a female now. Your hands are cuffed behind your back, and you decide you want to fight the cop by jumping up in his face and trying to bite him. So he pushed you down a few times, and now he got to get you out to the squad car because you're causing a commotion in the Walmart office. Bad enough, your white friends who you were with, the female, I mean, do understand that you had two little girls with you, 2 little black girls. And when the kids realized that you were being arrested, because I didn't pull out the cuffs or anything yet, because your kids are here. But when they realized that you were going to jail, they started crying, and then you was like, "Well, can my friend come get my kids?" So she called the friend, and when the cow opened the door, it was a white chick. So she verified who she was, and to the friend, they verified, yeah, like I'm here with her. I trust the kids in her custody. Like, okay, give me your ID. Boom, cop took her information, turned the kids over. The kids are crying because they realize mommy about to go to jail. And the only reason why they realize mommy about to go to jail is because they've been in that situation before with mommy. Except this time, mommy wasn't by herself. So the cop gets you outside trying to get you to the car, and you dead weight him. So at this point, keep in mind, you're thrashing about. You already tried to bite his face twice while in the office, calling him all sorts of racist names and whatnot. So he drags your ass across the concrete. I mean, this is Florida, honey. You ain't nothing but a human gator. Dragged you across the ground because you dead weighted him. And you screaming racism the whole way. Get you in the car, you kick him in his face. And he was, oh my God. He was gonna mollywop the shit out of her. Instead, he closed the door on her legs a good 2-3 times before she yanked him back. And then he was able to get that door shut. And then that's when all the white folks that was with her came running up. One guy acted like he wanted to fight, and that cop was like, "I'll drop your ass." Dude backed up real quick. 2 dudes and the chick. Oh, and the chick's mother, by the way. The white girl's mother. She was stealing for them. You out of town from Texas and Florida, and you stealing for these white folks. You done caught assault on a law enforcement officer as well as theft. Because Florida didn't play that under $1,000 shit. That's a red state. Their governor don't play that. Ron DeSantis didn't play that. So yeah, you were getting hit with felony. Understand, I saw a lot of that. And the evictions were even worse because, I mean, you always knew it was black. The worst thing about it was that in the majority of these evictions, not only was the house junky, but there was, literally a piece of bedroom furniture in the living room. No matter what type of house it was. It was either a dresser or a chester or a nightstand or a tall dresser, whatever. Always a piece of bedroom furniture in the living room, as well as like clothes everywhere. Clothes and takeout bags, cups of drinking sodas, rotting food. Just everywhere. Evictions, mainly Section 8, or just poor people, but they all pretty much had the same distinction. A lot of times the black folks would be there. You can't put me out. Ma'am, I'm an officer of the court. Please don't make me arrest you. Y'all know the guy, or was it Orenthal or whatever? Think he out in Memphis. You see them sad states and the criminality of us. You see that all the time. It grates on you. Do you understand? Especially when you know what what you, as in we, are capable of if we just put our minds to it. Not everybody is so stupid that they don't know how to feed themselves with the talents that they have. It's just a matter of you to stop being lazy and to make use of your talents. Usually what happens is a parent is supposed to find out what a kid's talent is and then push them towards that. That's why as a parent, you put your kid in everything and see what sticks. If they give up on it, cool. Well, let's try something else. You sure you didn't want to do that? I thought you liked it. They're trying to find, with parents who do that, they're trying to help their kids find their true interest, hopefully their talent, and then stick with it so that way they can learn it, so that way they have the skill to make money off of it. It's not just busy work. It's you cultivating your child. We don't do that. We let them take their smartphones and go to their room or whatnot and just be on the computer all day instead of having them go to like ballet class or, baseball practice or football practice or something like that. Get out of the house, go be a kid, go make some friends, join some clubs, do something besides just sitting around on your phone and watching TV all day. These are your kids. You don't nurture them. You don't cultivate them. This is how they become YNs. And it's not just males, it's females too. This is how you create YNs. They have nothing else better to do except roam the streets and shoot up like Atlantic Station, where there's no way in hell as a kid you live in that area. You had to walk a good 2 to 5 miles in order to get to Atlantic Station. It's a 15-minute city. Work, shop, play, live. You understand? 15-minute city. You walk y'all happy as a group, a large group. Walked y'all happy asses all the way out there and caused all sorts of teenage misfit and mayhem, robbing people and shit, harassing people, and now shooting each other. Lenox Mall used to be like a candy land for black people. Now they've got metal detectors and just a bunch of novelty stores. I very rarely go up there unless I feel like I'll go to the Old Navy around the corner. I'll go there, pick up some clothes. And if I'm in the area, if I got time, I'll just go in the Lenox Mall and just walk it just to see what changes are made and for the nostalgia. Like they used to have like a fine dining restaurant in it and everything. And now like the most expensive restaurant you got is the California Pizza Kitchen, which it looks like it gets like no business because it's out in the open. And then of course the bottom floor, they just expanded the hell out of the food court. So you have way too many, you have an oversaturation of restaurants. The mall is a shell of itself. They have metal detectors at the entrances because, you had a few shootouts at Lenox Mall. Buckhead, where Kevin Samuels was living before he passed, apartment over there go for at minimum 7,000. You having shootouts up there. Violent crime is up there. When that was like one of the safest areas in the city. Probably the most dangerous thing that you would encounter is getting hit by a car. Because, I mean, the traffic is insane. Not anymore. Socially, it's like, it's insane here in my city. Endowment Mall is a death trap. Haven't stopped there in years. Yeah. Not to mention all the malls that have closed because of crime. COVID, then the crime wave. Then of course the high taxes. Just driving businesses out. Here in Atlanta, you can't blame the Mexicans. You can't blame the whites. You can't blame the Africans. You have to blame yourself. And after watching all of those videos for like 2 years on my Embrace Villainy channel, it wasn't the Africans, wasn't the Hispanics. They were committing other crimes. Wasn't the whites. It was us. It was 99.95% us. I'm watching that every night, over and over and over again. And I understand it's not all of us. Not all of us. I mean, the street takeovers and all this stuff, all the wild insanity stuff that's going on in San Francisco, in Chicago, in Baltimore, in Boston, in Philadelphia. I mean, I get it. They don't represent us as the whole. But they definitely don't help the image either. They make the imagery worse, especially when it's so rampant like that. The kids need jobs, but they also need after school programs. They actually need to be taught how to read and write. They need to have pride in wanting to go to school. Learning something new is fun. And all you got is a bunch of kids just being babysat all day and then push forward to the next grade, the next school year. Yeah, what's the point in going? You're not learning anything. You're not being challenged. The music that you listen to is garbage. All it does is just promote criminality. And then, of course, you have some people who buy into it, and then you've got peer pressure. And now you've got a group of 4 young black teens who will carjack even a congresswoman, bust her in her head, and break her leg to steal her hot pink Jeep. And she so proudly displayed on her Twitter page. Carjack her, and even despite being assaulted, she was able to get her 2 children out the car. And my thing was, because she was so anti-police, defund the police. Like, so if they catch those 4, shall we bring them to your house so you can give them milk and cookies and a 1-hour lecture on why what they did was wrong? Is that the punishment that, you feel best fit the crime, since you want to defund the police and feel that all these juveniles need is, a chance. Shall we do that? Yeah, that was the first one that decided to be anti-crime. She went from pro-crime to anti-crime overnight. But you created these YNs like that through the school system, and the parents didn't help on the home front. Kids were practically raising themselves. Of course, teenagers are going to lash out. They're full of hormones. They don't know what to do. These dudes really ain't even sleeping with the girls like that. I mean, teen pregnancy has dropped dramatically. Isn't that weird? They'd rather steal a car than be shacked up, with Shaquisha. Not saying they don't, but now you don't see that coupling anymore. That high school boyfriend, girlfriend shit, you don't see that no more. You don't even hardly see it in college, let alone out here in, the adult world. At least not with predominant ADOS or FBAs, whatever the hell you want to call yourself. The marriage numbers have declined like astronomically. Meanwhile, other groups of people, do understand white women are like next behind you, but their numbers are half of what yours are. And then everybody else is just like at a normal trickle. And somehow that's racism. Or it's men's fault. Gender war is so stupid. It's based really on economics, where somehow women think that they have the power, while on government assistance or getting child support, they think that they have the power because they have a mid-level secretary job, if they're lucky, that pays them more than $40,000 a year. Of course, a lot of that was government work, and we saw how that turned out. The reason I don't even talk about women on my show is because, number one, this American culture is poison, especially as far as in the BC, where the black community, however you want to call it, black society, our culture has been poisoned. It is destroyed. And this poison seeps out into other cultures as well. In some cultures, they don't even, here in America, you're a black man. Are you kidding me? You're lucky I don't call the police. Tyrell. It's like, why do you even bother? I don't bother because I don't care. Like, I don't want you. You don't want me. It's mutually exclusive. I'm not about to waste my time talking about it. There are other things I could be doing, which I do. I ain't worried about you. I don't even know you. I call out the dumb shit you do, but as far as like relationship wise or socially, I don't give a fuck what you do. Just stay out of federal agents' way. Stay out of their way. Stop trying to protect the legals. I have nothing to say about you. I don't give a damn who you dating, who you sleeping with, who you decide to scam. I give a shit about any of that. I don't give a damn about your little feminist talking points. I don't care. There's no value there. So I don't talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. I don't care. But I will say that it is very, very, very disheartening that this is the topic du jour. Really from, big government can't be the biggest employer. Exactly. It's sad that this is the topic du jour with those who, in all honesty, like, you're not even in the dating pool. Why are you talking? If you're not in the pool, why are you talking? I know I'm not in the pool. Not here. There's piss and shit and vomit in the pool. I know I'm not going swimming. I'm good. Man, them sisters look good. No, they don't. Or better yet, yeah, they do. They do. But they're covered with toxins. I'd much rather not. I get it. I mean, there's a way to make money online. There's a lot of desperate losers who can't accept their own personal failures, so they blame it on women. Lot of dudes like that who aren't even in the pool. They're trying to get in the pool. And the pool lets in everybody. But the pool has a hierarchy. Just like high school. The pool has a hierarchy. Yeah, if you were ostracized in high school, you were definitely ostracized in a dating pool. It's no different than high school. Your high school experience is the rest of your life unless you improve yourself in order to, come a little more upstream in the pool. I mean, I'm just being honest. So we're at least somebody that's at least halfway attractive or better than what you've had will look at you and be like, you know what? I think I can give him a chance. He's dressed nice. He works out. He's not, overweight or anything. His clothes are nice. They're decent. Okay, I might be able to work with this. A little rough around the edges. Women love a fixer-upper. Trust me, no chick is gonna walk into a destroyed shack in the middle of the woods and turn that into a fixer-upper. She's gonna walk right by that. She'll always feel that there's a better cabin down the road. It's just your turn. Just your turn. Maybe she'll stay. Maybe she won't. Maybe she'll stay. Maybe she'll stay for a little while. That's the gamble you take. In a long time since a lot of you have taken that gamble or had somebody take that gamble on you. So I understand your bitterness and your resentment, but don't let it be your identity. It's pathetic. It just screams lonely man. Right. You know, I mean, you're free to talk about what you want to talk about. I mean, I'm not the internet police or anything, but just understand, you know, it's just not a conversation that I entertain, like at all. Like the only way you'll catch me indulging in it, like right now, is because, okay, let me make some points about it. And I've been nothing but consistent in my points about it. I swear to God, the way some of these dudes talk about these chicks, especially about black women, you know, whether they're in a relationship or not, I mean, they just talk with such utter disdain. It's really, 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 really pathetic. But moving along. I mean, it's bad enough we've got infamous scammers going on, and you know, amongst the black community, be it a Tulsa land grab or a school, or you know, needing a jet, get the latest jet so you can get to and from Africa faster. I mean, the scammers we have in our community is just pathetic. It's pathetic. And we let them operate instead of shutting them down. Some of us even revere these people, look up to these people, hold them in highest esteem. And then when you hold the mirror up to that person, you do a side-by-side comparison, you realize that they're the same person. That's why they like them. They might not have all the traits, but they got enough. They got a few defining traits about them that aren't good. You know, it's just like black people that, you know, protect Jasmine Crockett. There's a type. They attack family members over this chick. There's a type. I mean, do understand your boy Boyce was rocking with Jay Morrison because he understood the scam and he wanted his cut. Morrison needed somebody to vouch for him. So he got Boyce with his unscrupulous ass to do it. You know, just like DJ Envy and that real estate scam. Yeah, you got an unscrupulous yet popular voice to promote you, to give you legitimacy. Because Boyce was one of the pro-black YouTube all-stars. He still had some juice in the game, but he was like, he had kind of like cooled down a lot, especially after the Charles Wu scam. That scandal. I mean, Charles Wu's scam was so famous that it was a cutaway on Family Guy. And Boyce was working for this dude. And then when he got called out for it, he was like, but he met my mom. He came over for dinner. He met my mother. He was calling my mother his mother. He was calling her mom and all this stuff. And I'm like, You know how you look at the invisible camera, like what? What is he saying? Like, dude, yeah, he conned you. That's all it took was him to come to your mama's house and eat her cooking and smile and pretend that he's her stepson or some type of foster son by calling her mom. That's all it took for you to run his scam with that freaking financial literacy class, which you just taught people how to write a check and how to balance a checkbook. This is what you were charging thousands of dollars for? Something that somebody's mama or daddy could have sat down and taught them how to do if they actually took time out to rear their children. You took home ec out of the classroom, out of the schools. It could have taught them that there. That's the purpose of home ec. It's in the name, home economics. They teach you how to balance a checkbook and a bank account, and how to watch your spending. I mean, I took home ec in 7th and 8th grade. They teach you these things. You took that out of the school system. Why? Replaced it with what? Drag time story hour? What did you, what? Black parents said nothing. But you want me to respect you simply because you're a mother. And I use that term very loosely. Kids can't read, write, and count at the basic 8th grade level. The Jimmy Carter era, that's what they did. With the Board of Education, they took that nationally. Remember back in the day, kids were homeschooled or taught at the church. By the school marm. Then it got replaced by public education schools. And we just got dumber and dumber and dumber over the years. Is that white people's fault, or is that your fault for not demanding more from your kids in the school that they go to? Is it your fault for not checking to see if your kid did their homework? And if they did, going over it. That's if you come home and, homework's done. Because usually that was like me being a latchkey kid. Do my chores and do my homework. Normally I would have it done before my mother got home. Because, sometimes I would get up early and straighten up. Plus, we wasn't really, we weren't messy. My mother kept a clean house. So mainly it just consisted of me really just washing dishes and maybe sweeping and mopping the floor and vacuuming. You get that done in less than an hour. She don't get home till 6. Yeah, my homework's normally done and sitting on the table so she could check it. I'm outside playing. But I knew to be home before the street lights came on. And then if I had a problem with my homework, she would make me correct it. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there eating dinner and redoing my homework. Because more than likely I rushed through it watching cartoons. After school cartoons, doing my homework, trying to hurry up so I can go outside and play. G.I. Joe was especially good that afternoon. I'm sorry, I'm just running through memories, but I mean, you got to look after your kids, and that's not what's happening. I'm not happy with that at all. We're destroyed as a people because of it. And our so-called black leaders do nothing but cause more harm and destruction on our behalf. Except this time they're doing it in favor of the illegal. Before, it was just a sham. The money comes in the front door. The majority of it goes out the back, and there's no money for education. Sorry, it's not in the budget. You never hear about how much was, brought in through the front door. Or maybe you do. You're like, well, where's the money? Oh, they moved it on other things. What other things? Oh, you have to talk to somebody else. I don't know. This is how you get a Nick Shirley. You don't know? Well, let me go find out. Let's go knock on their door. This dude breaking the biggest story in the country. And what's the black biggest story? Corey and Anton about to fight. Really? That's our big headline for this morning, or that yesterday. That was our big headline, big black headline. Some dude from the projects ready to fight some dude who grew up in a house with a mom and a dad. One dude too old to be trying to fight somebody. The other one, tired of being punked. I mean, he give it just as good as he give it. He get it. He give it as good as he get it. And the truth was, he wasn't scared. I say again, when no matter what you say, you can say that, get all up in my face and say it again all you want to. But the second I say, well, let's step outside, and you don't, nope, I don't want to hear nothing about no security. I don't want to hear nothing about no lawsuits. I don't want to hear nothing about your arthritis. I don't want to hear nothing about your bad back or your bad knees or, the crook in your neck. You stubbed your toe. I don't want to hear none of that. Step your ass outside. You want to play tough guy? You want to disrespect me? All right, come on. We can go out back and settle this like gentlemen. I don't want to hear nothing about no, I'm holding the door. Like, well then, hey, we could have rumbled right there in the studio. I said, let's step outside. Suddenly you got 1,001 excuses for not wanting to step outside. Like, I'm just accepting your challenge. Now that I've accepted your challenge, you don't want to do pistols at dawn, huh? And then to talk cash money shit after I leave, even call yourself trying to talk shit to your female co-host because they had a lovely chat before the show began, because she don't see him as an enemy. You do. He's not her enemy. She don't know that dude. She's the only sensible one on the show. It's amazing she hung around that long. She's definitely a loyal one. She must really not have nothing else better to do on a Tuesday night. I understand she also, helps with the merchandise sales and everything, as far as packaging and everything. So she's an integral part of the business. But that's a loyal one right there. Because I'd have been left your ass. I always ask, what's the black version of the Joe Rogan podcast? There isn't one. There isn't one. I mean, let's just be honest. There isn't one. Nobody sits down and does interviews with real people. You know what I'm saying? Nobody sits down and talks, about intellectual stuff or, just even sci-fi stuff that ain't even true. Or, you sit around and talk about possible cover-ups and conspiracies. I mean, when you just got two guys sitting back chilling, you don't have that. That's why the liberals were saying, "Oh, we need our own version of Joe Rogan." It's like, well, you had Joe Rogan. You literally had Joe Rogan, and you fumbled the bag for illegals and transsexuals and transing children. You understand? You had Joe Rogan. You had Elon Musk. You had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You had Tulsi Gabbard. You fumbled the bag. With your ideology. The liberal black podcast usually consists of talking about females or gossiping about the news or relationships. We have those of us that talk politics, but we talk it in a vacuum. Kingdom Reacts, the Hood Conservative, the Black Conservative, Devroy Darkins, I think that's his name. Other black creators, male and female. Like, they're not conservatives or Democrats. They're independents. Or they call themselves conservatives, but they're not part of the Republican Party. They just have conservative views. They're not Republicans. They just have conservative views. There is a difference. It's like you can have liberal views and not call yourself or not be a Democrat. Yeah, I do believe in free healthcare and all that stuff, but you don't want to talk about the money, and you're not about to go out here with a protest sign to fight for it either. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. It is what it is type of situation. But you're not a Democrat. You're not trying to toe the party line. You understand what I'm saying? You're like in the sort of like center left, but these people are like center right. Either way, you're independent. It's just which side of the aisle your politics swing on, but you're not part of the faction, if that makes any sense. Yeah, in the black sector, those type of people are independent, and they usually swing center right. The dudes that swing center left, like I said, is gossip, chicks, or gossip and chicks. I mean, even Valuetainment with their 3-man roster. I mean, I guess Corey would be their version, or the black version of Valuetainment. But it's the thoughts and opinions of a hood dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like no Dave Anderson on the panel. Dave Anderson, like a Name an intellectual black person that you trust. It's not a 3-man panel of them of like a black brain trust. If here you get like the Lapeef Network. But that's more of like an around the horn type of situation. You know what I'm saying? That's like around the horn. Or whatever that show was on ESPN that got canceled. They have all the panelists on there. Like picture Piers Morgan only with 5 more guests. It's 8 guests in the room on a Piers Morgan show. And like nobody's an intellectual. They just going on their thoughts and feelings. I mean, I literally saw Anton was on there. He got into it with some lispy black dude because I guess some TikTok couple was getting a divorce. And the guy was saying that, somebody in her camp leaked that that they're getting the divorce. And it's like, no. Anton is telling the dude, no. TMZ, through court records, saw that she filed for divorce. Therefore, TMZ put the story out because they had the paperwork that they had filed for divorce. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they heard it on the grapevine, but the grapevine is not what caused her to file for divorce. It was the infidelity that caused her to file for the divorce. It was in the court documents. Nobody on the internet knew. Nobody was talking about it because nobody knew until TMZ came out with the paperwork. So no, it wasn't the internet that got this woman to file for divorce. But this is what Antron was trying to tell him. Like, she had already filed before the internet knew. He didn't want to go with that. He wanted to stick to his guns that the internet made her file, even though nobody on the internet knew until after TMZ posted the paperwork. I mean, these are the type of arguments that they have on the Lapeef Network. People were trying to say that the dude that Anton was arguing with was right. And it's like, how? When nobody knew until TMZ posted the paperwork. Like, are y'all not following the logic train here? Yeah, I can't do that. That's headache inducing because there's no logic to it. Plus, it's rumors and gossip. I could care less. I don't care who decided to stop bumping uglies or who's bumping uglies. I mean, it's cool little gossipy news to oh, okay, all right. But to sit up there and just watch like a whole 45 minutes to an hour of that crap, to hear people arguing over that crap, I mean, taking it like dead serious. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Give me the snippet. Yeah, give me the 3-minute snippet, the 5-minute snippet. Okay, yeah, that'll work. They went on for 2 hours. Yeah, I don't need to hear 2 hours of that. Just give me the Cliff Notes. Okay, cool. Thank God for shorts, huh? For YouTube shorts. I'm sorry, but that stuff is so exhausting for me
For me, I mean, you have the right to be entertained by whatever you want, but understand, for me, all of this stuff is exhausting. Because I mean, I'd have thought that after all the business we done in the store, that Black society was in good hands. I thought it was in good hands. Turned around and it wasn't. I mean, I left Ohio because just the environment, of like a 60-40, and not really a true 40, but more like a 60-30 or a 60-25, but it was definitely a 60-30 type of split, if not a 20, because I mean, you had so many different ethnic groups: Somalians, Asians, Indians from India, of course, Hispanic. You had such a melting pot, but the majority, was liberal whites. And I swear to God, it was suffocating me. So moving down here, back down to Atlanta, and seeing how far we've progressed, it's frustrating. It's almost heartbreaking, but it's definitely frustrating. And to see it happen all across the United States is even extremely more frustrating, because I'm like, I know we used to send boxes to those cities like Baltimore and LA and Chicago and New York and Miami and Philadelphia. Like, we used to send out, because I know I filled those boxes. I filled those boxes, like U-Haul moving boxes. I filled those boxes. So it's like, well, what happened to all the knowledge of the people that were gathering the knowledge? Did you not apply it? Or was you just looking at this for entertainment and to, make a quick buck? That's where my attitude comes from when I talk about our people. The spider web is just so intricately woven into our destruction, and it's like, it's going to take, as I said, it's going to take legislation to get us up out of this hole. And luckily now we have the legislation. We ended the Department of Education, so where now you as a parent can, choose the curriculums for your kids and make sure that they actually graduate. Trump put the ball back in your hands, getting you off public assistance. And you got a 2-year window to get your shit together. I'd advise you to, if you calling yourself go to school, just go to community college and learn how to do hair or filing or truck driving or dental assistant, something. Be a paralegal, do something. Because trust me, you're gonna need a lot of paralegals with what's coming down the pike in your city and state. You might be able to get a job as a paralegal real quick. With all this fraud we find it. I mean, somebody gonna be hiring lawyers, and lawyers need paralegals like a motherfucker. You better start going to school now. While you can probably still get a student loan. Or maybe you can, do the welfare assistance program. Like, hey, well, can you guys help me out with schooling? Hopefully they say yes. I mean, they're trying to get you up off of there and up out of there. Like I said earlier, the scam is over. The scam is over. You're no longer going to be living for free off of the taxpayer dimes. You're not going to be able to do it for years on top of years on top of years. Yeah, it's over. You best get your affairs in order. It's time for you to shed or get off the pot. So either you can improve yourself in order and be able to get a better job, especially in an ever-growing field such as like paralegals. I mean, I'm being funny, but I'm not being funny. You know, finish up that nursing degree. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do that. Get that over with. Or that, what's the other one? It's not a nursing degree. Home health aid. Yeah, go and hurry up, finish school up with that. You know, find you one of them, a true, actual, not a Somalian daycare or a Somalian health clinic. Get you a real clinic that'll send you out to go change some people's, bedpans and catheters and shit. You know what I'm saying? Go and get you one of them jobs. They pay pretty good. Plus if you're using your own car, they even pay for mileage. You won't be stuck in a stuffy office, and they'll probably keep sending you out to the same place over and over if you do a good job and they recommend you. The client said, yeah, please call her back. Yeah. Oh, hell no. At any rate. Yeah, the jig is up. The warehouse jobs are coming in, so brothers can now finally get a real job. You don't have to work at, Church's Chicken no more, frying chicken or anything like that. And you got to stock shelves at a Family Dollar. You don't have to work part-time at a Walmart with no benefits. These warehouse jobs come in, these trucking jobs. I'd advise you to go to trucking school. I'm telling you, that Hyundai plant, where they got all them illegals up out of here from South Korea, yeah, they had to hire American workers. You heard Trump say that. Like, I don't care you build the plants here, just hire American workers. Hire American workers to build it and work in it. You part of a construction crew, you got you a good job. You know how to drive a truck, you got your CDLs, and them factory jobs are when they ready to open up. Yeah, that's good money. Whether you're a long haulman or or just doing the short haul. You dropping stuff off locally or whatever. Yeah, you got you a job. You got you a job. You work in warehouse, as long as you count, you got you a job. Men and women too. You working up in the office space, office buildings, you got you a job. You work in the surrounding area, guaranteed you're gonna get your hours. People gonna be spending that money. You get rid of the legals, you'll watch housing costs go down. They already giving women a stipend of $5,000 to have the baby, plus the baby gets $1,000 put into a special interest rate account, really the S&P 500. And nobody can touch it till the kid turns 18, and only the kid can touch it. I mean, you looking at a new golden age, you just haven't tasted the fruits of its labor yet because it's still in its developing stages. But you'll definitely feel the effects come 2027, 2028. You'll definitely feel it. You'll see it and you'll feel it. It'll be like a breath of fresh air. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that shooting in Minneapolis. And them people lucky they didn't get killed. You gonna run out the house with shovels and attack the ICE agents who are trying to catch a fugitive? You lucky he didn't empty the clip in your asses, in both of you. He shot one of you and held your ass down until backup came and an ambulance. And when backup came, they snatched up your partner that came outside with you and the illegal. I saw one video. This white woman is in the house with her baby, her newborn, crying in her arms. She on the phone with 911 because this is in Minneapolis. ICE was outside on the corner and some Uber driver jumped out of the car and ran into her house. Like she banging on the door, the chick banging on the door frantically, and this chick, like a dumbass, opened her door to somebody frantically banging on her door in the middle of the day. Husband upstairs. I mean, she on the phone with the police, telling the police, I don't know what because she told the police what happened. She filming. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid ICE is gonna shoot me. Like, you stupid bitch. Then before she ended the video, she called for her husband, come down here. Some foreigner, fugitive, banging on your door. You let him in like a dumbass. ICE is outside, and you're here with a desperate, possibly dangerous fugitive in your house behind a locked door with you with a newborn. And your goofy husband upstairs unaware of any of this, and you on the phone with the police talking about some, I don't know what to do. What if that foreigner decided to pull out a knife and start stabbing you up? Would you know what to do then? Would you still be confused? Well, if they took the baby and held a knife to the baby's neck as a hostage, would you know what to do then? Would you open the door then? Guaranteed that husband, like, what are you doing? Open the door. We'll come out. Yeah, we're on the porch. Go in and get them. Get this son of a bitch out of my house. The hell you mean you don't know what to do? Are you really that stupid? This is the culture of America. I can't stand it. Oh my God. And it's affected us as a people so badly. This is what leadership has done to us. It has us making irrational decisions. It has us thinking that the police officer in the foot chase, we're going to stick our leg out to trip them and then get hemmed up. Now we done call a charge. Trying to be cute. We're going to threaten to arrest ICE officers if they come in here and do what we feel is illegal. Those are the stupid things that we do. Even though I should be under federal indictment for 20 guns missing and, the theft of wage theft that's going on there. No, it wasn't 20 guns. It was 200 guns. 200 guns coming up missing. How does that happen? Unless somebody's running an underground illegal gun operation out of the police department. The layer of incompetence is mind-numbingly painful. That makes any sense. It gives me an empty headache. And I don't have the patience to be dealing with this stuff. So I kind of crash out or flash out. I can't believe that this is actually happening. Be it black or white. but especially with us, because my standards for some reason are still higher than stupidity for us. Just higher than stupidity. That's my limit. At least be higher than stupidity. And I can't even get that. I mean, you know it's bad when a black-owned restaurant says, "Hey, we have a dress code here," and you have another black woman hop her happy ass on a flight because she don't even stay in the same state, and go there and walk in naked in order to prove a point. And it's like, well, what was the point? That you're a degenerate? That you feel that you're above rules and regulations? I mean, what was your point? That you're paying me the ultimate disrespect as a black business owner? I mean, because it was the wife who said it, but you know, she's married. It was the wife that was on the news that said it. So upon hearing that, your mission in life was to spend money on plane fare in the hotel to ultimately disrespect me as a black business owner by walking into my restaurant buck naked when there are children in here. This is a family restaurant. There have children in here. Why we have a dress code? We're trying to be respectable. And this is the response. The black dude didn't want anybody twerking on his table, and people booed. The customers booed him. He worked hard to have a decent family restaurant in his own neighborhood, and this was the respect that he was given. The crowd booed him for not wanting women twerking on the top of his tables in front of customers. When people, you gotta put your food on this table, and these chicks had their feet and their booty sweat flopping all over his counters. I mean, there's some things that even if you use the disinfectant, you don't ever see it as clean again. Like if you accidentally get some poop on the floor, you know what I'm saying, or some vomit on the floor, or whatever, you missed the toilet. Even though you cleaned it up in that area, you're subconsciously not stepping on that area. I'm supposed to be proud of that? Are the people involved supposed to be proud of that? Very rarely do I see stories, especially coming out of TikTok, as far as on the social level. Very rarely do I see a story of somebody black doing something uplifting. Always something negative or degenerative and stupid. Eventually that does great on you. And I understand that it's not the sum of the whole. But it's like, when does the stupid stop? When does it stop? And it doesn't, because everybody loves to film themselves doing whatever the hell they really shouldn't be doing. You know, like the black guy that sprayed the bug spray on the fruits and vegetables at Walmart. And then later, you know, he had made another video where he went and picked all the stuff up, threw it in the cart, and then pushed it in some back area somewhere. So now they have to go through the cameras to see, you know, well, who did this? Some black kid. Wait, hold on, when? Check the cameras, find out when they do that. And then now they got to watch this dude. They see him come in, and then he grabbed the fruit and then push. And they're like, why is he doing that? So as they continue to run by the cameras, they see him maybe 15, 20 minutes, you know, later, which is sooner, taking bug spray and spraying it all over their fruits and vegetables. And of course, to confirm that, you've got calls coming into your Walmart of people who saw the video. So now they're calling all the Walmarts in that area to warn them of what this fool did on camera. Yeah, it'd be stuff like that. It'd be stuff like that. So yeah, I get very tense when stuff like that. I see stuff like that. I get very tense when we do things that are so out of pocket and out of character and so ridiculously stupid. It's like, I know you know better than this. Please tell me you know better than this. But I guess I need to learn to understand that. Not that we're not, everybody's not me. You understand? Not that I have the main character syndrome, but it's like, why are you doing that? I wouldn't do that. That's dumb. I know that's dumb. How do you not know that that's dumb? Is that you don't know that it's dumb, or you just don't care? I mean, clearly you don't, because you're filming yourself doing it. Like I said, you got plenty of freedom of speech. There's no such thing as freedom from consequences. Especially when you film yourself doing something stupid. That's really criminal mischief, if not felonies. Although lately it's been like veiled threats to law enforcement, which is just so stupid. I try to avoid that stuff at all costs. But yeah, that's why I go so hard, because I expect better, but I'm not getting better. Maybe my expectations are too high to think that, as a people, you would learn to get your shit together. But that's my mistake. All right. That's all I got. Peace.
No, gentlemen, Mr. Butler's been up north, I hear. Don't you agree with us, Mr. Butler?
I think it's hard winning a war with words, gentlemen.
What do you mean, sir?
I mean, Mr. Hamilton, there's not a cannon factory in the whole South.
What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman?
I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen, sir.
Are you hinting, Mr. Butler, that the Yankees can lick us?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance.
That's treachery!
A problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
All right, bye. Thanks for the fun.
Get the fuck out!